to touch on that quickly, if you think about from the client's perspective, if they have holiday voiceover work that they need done, character work, we're in what, the third week of October. So holidays are coming up pretty quick. It would be safe to assume that they need this production relatively quickly. So I would, you know me, I'm always very transparent and upfront about my pricing, and I try to keep it consistent across all platforms. But for holiday voiceover work, if you don't already have like a express delivery available, I would definitely make that option available, because they're at this point in time and getting closer to the holidays, they're going to need those projects done quickly, right? So they'll need those options. It would behoove you to have those options available. In terms of keeping the voice consistent, and I think this kind of goes with also matching the client's vision exactly. You want to collab with the client before you try out these character voices, even if the client has given you a little bit of an idea of what they're looking for. And at this point, you also have to remember that the client may not exactly know what they're looking for or how to articulate it either. They're trying their best to articulate what they're looking for, and you're trying your best to understand what it is that they're looking for in terms of a character voice. So this is the time where you want to get together with the author or client. And the easiest thing that I have found is to ask the client, is there an example of something that you've seen either on YouTube, Instagram, somewhere that you can share with me so I have an idea of what I'm trying to achieve? Or a character in a movie or in a TV show, something somewhere that I can reference that it easily explains for both of us what it is that you're looking for. That is usually the easiest way to do that. Or at the very least, have the client record something in the tone and pace or the character voice that they're looking for themselves and send it to you, so you have some kind of an idea. And you still might have to do a little bit of trial and error. You might want to do maybe 2, 3, 4 different takes of character voices options to give the client to see if one of them at least is going the right direction. But keep in mind with these character voices, and depending on what you're using the character voice for, you want to make sure that you can sustain that character voice, that it's not going to completely destroy your voice. If it is, then it has to be something that is short. It has to be something that is not going to be like an audiobook, because you don't want to completely destroy your voice for the rest of the audiobook that you need to record and all of the other character voices. So you want to make sure that this voice is relatively sustainable, that it's not going to completely destroy your voice in the process. And it's something that you can sort of keep consistent, right? If you have multiple lines, you want to choose a voice that you can at least sustain throughout the length of the project. Hopefully it's not too long. I would say hydration too. Hydration tea. There's lots of different teas out there that you can use. I like the throat coat tea, especially if I'm doing something that's a little bit destructive on my voice. I like the throat coat tea. You can get that on Amazon. But any kind of tea that you like, hot water and honey, even if you're not a tea drinker. What else? Some people have said whiskey, but I don't know if that kind of keeps things clear. I don't recommend that, but I haven't personally tried it. Anyway, if you have something that you use to help keep the voice clear and comfortable and soothed, then please recommend that for everybody watching. Switching between characters is gonna, I guess, also goes along with keeping the characters consistent. What we talk about a lot in our audiobook classes in Launchpad and all the places that I teach, a great thing to do if you have multiple characters and perhaps you have to come back and reference a voice later, what we do is you can do one of two things, actually one of probably three things. Depending on your DAW and what the capabilities of the DAW that you're using are, one way to do this that was brought up by one of our Launchpad members, what she does is that she has multi-track open in her DAW, and then she has a singular track for every character voice that's in this project. And that way, all she has to do is open up the multi-track project and then just highlight or mute all of the other voices and then just select the voice she wants to hear. And that is an easy reference to listen to the voice and go, oh yeah, that's what that guy sounds like. Another thing you can do is have a snippet of each character voice within a folder within the project on your computer that you can just easily reference. You can look through the file snippets and go, okay, this is character A. I'm going to listen to that. That's right. That's what he sounds like. Or the way that I do it is I have one master audio file and I take a snippet of each voice and then I paste it in and then separate them with markers. And then I name each marker that character. That way I can open up a one file and I can easily see all the different characters that I'm trying to work with in this project. It just makes it easier for me to have it all in one file. So I just have one file open and ready and I can just go through and search for the character I'm looking for instead of having to open and close multiple files. You know, that's just the way that I do it. There really isn't a right or a wrong way to do it, but whichever way works for you, I guess, is the right way. And that is one of the beauties of doing what we do in voiceover and audiobooks. There really isn't one right way to do really anything, right? Whatever works for you. Looking over my notes, make sure that I was touching on everything that I wanted to. Time crunches, versatility, clear communication. I think that is where, for character voices, where we get hung up the most is understanding each other, the actor and the client, right? Here are some, before we get to the chat, I'm going to get to the chat and all your questions, but I wanted to touch on some holiday character surface ideas that you can offer as a voice actor. Now, if you're on, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this, if you're on a place like Fiverr where you can have multiple gigs, what you want to have, and I always recommend this, is a singular character gig, right? All throughout the year for any kind of character that, you know, you're open-ended. Client, come to me with your character idea and I will do it. But during the holidays, unless you are like top rated or something and you have the ability or you have access to multiple gigs, but if you don't, you can turn that evergreen year-long gig into a holiday gig every year, right? Just change the title, change the thumbnail, and you can make it more Christmas focused or, you know, holiday focused. If you start even earlier in October, you can make it Halloween to Christmas focused, right? If you think about haunted houses, escape rooms, right? Any kind of spooky kind of, you know, Halloween greetings, you know, if there is, I mean, people, I've seen all kinds of weird stuff during my tenure in this career. But especially for Christmas, you're going to see a lot more of character holiday greetings, voicemail greetings. Maybe if you do a good Santa or Mrs. Claus or a Grinch kind of a voice, you can offer these things on Fiverr for whatever kind of purpose, for, you know, animated shorts, again, for phone greetings, brand mascot voices. I made a lot of notes here. Animated holiday character kind of things, podcast ad voiceovers. I mean, as a voice artist, you know, there are tons of applications for us. And this time of year, you want to capitalize on holiday character voices. Let's see. Grinch roasts your friends. I think that one was one that I saw last year that I think if you can do a good Grinch voice, you can make that a gig, you know, or make that service available to people. You can roast friends, make audio clips of you roasting the client's friends as the Grinch. For TikTok, I mean, geez, it's singing charactergrams. I mean, there are tons and tons of things that you can offer with character voices if you just kind of sit and think about it, you know? Tons of stuff. So for those of you that aren't on Fiverr or are active on social media, you could make shorts, make reels, make TikTok videos of your voices doing all of these things, and then get them out into the interwebs. Get them in front of the eyeballs that are there, right? Millions, if not billions of people on social media. So that's your homework for